Happy New Year!
Alright, so imagine it. It's 1501, the start of the 16th century. Roads are nothing but hay. Dirt floor poor is a very real condition. And your neighbor just so happened to be hexed by the old lady down the street. Every day, as soon as your feet hit the floor, you are thrown into a world of nothing but superstitions and demons and ghouls. Goosebumps are nothing. They don't mean anything as to a natural phenomenon. They're more than just a chill in the air. Let's face it, you're now in some kind of storybook. Words have always invoked something. From very dark past to very lighthearted futures, they've always changed. They've given you happiness and sadness and sorrow and fear. For over 300 years, this one phrase managed to cast fear on an entire population. So let's look at it. Let's look at what it was then, what it is now. Something it was kind of inspired by, and then let's look at how this little tyrant had its very sad end. So, alright, let's dig into it. So it's 1501, it is the 16th century. This is a very dark time. Pitchforks and torches are a very real thing. And if your neighbor gets sick, then you immediately go after the people that probably caused her getting sick. And so, in a world where bad is like totally around you, you want to be good, right? So you don't want to mess with the bad. You don't want to mess with voodoo or witchcraft. And speak of the devil was a proverb to try and teach people not to get into that stuff. You see, it originally meant speak of the devil and surely he will be at your elbow. So don't invite him into your life. I mean, if you can believe that all these superstitious ghouls are around you, then you can also believe that there's this big bad guy who's very much alive and very much controlling this entire world, this entire universe of things you want to stay out of. But what does it mean today? You see, it was shortened down to just speak of the devil and say we're gossiping about Jessica and we're just saying things about her, and then boom, she just randomly pops up next to me like, speak of the devil, holy cow, how did you know to randomly pop up like that? You see, it's so lighthearted, we're just teasing the fact that maybe it was supernatural, that she knew when to pop up. Something I think is very interesting is, can you think of a story that may have been inspired by the fact that there's a very bad guy who you don't want to say his name? He who shall not be named?
Harry Potter.
There you go!
Yeah.
Thank you. Harry Potter. You see, Voldemort at the time was probably one of the most powerful wizards of all time. He was scary. He invoked fear in people. You didn't want to say his name. You didn't want to talk about him. You didn't want to think about him, because he could destroy you within like 2 seconds. Alright, so during this time period, magic was very much alive. I mean, in our world, we probably don't see it now, but back then, it was so true to them. They had to live with the fact that maybe there are superstitious things, because science isn't making grounds anymore. And so, the devil was very much Voldemort of Harry Potter. Alright, well, how did it end? In 1666, how ironic, the ending number after the 1. I know, isn't that hilarious? It was finally written down in a poem. And you see, this poem actually came from Italy. So we're up in England where all this is happening. And I mean, it traveled down, I think it's, Italy is south, isn't it? Okay. So it finally just like travels down. And now suddenly you have speak of the devil, the proverb, suddenly like everywhere, all over the world, because bad things are just happening in this time period. Like I said, science is not making grounds. And so finally, 300 years later, it's like the 1800s, we're just continuing to roll it and roll it and roll it and roll it. It's written down in different poems, different sayings, and even Shakespeare made fun of it in a play. I mean, you have Shakespeare, this man who's very well known for just making fun of things and being just the odd character of this idea, has now written down something about the devil in this play. And, like, you're finally just introducing most of it into your life. Alright. So, like, now, when we think about it, we don't think about it as being bad anymore. It is just a tease. I mean, look at it. Look at where it came from and look at what it is now. We just dove into the fact that it was a very, very true thing, and now it's just a common saying. You see, words have always changed meanings, and they always will. See, you speak of the devil had a very dark past, and now has a very lighthearted future. Now, imagine it. It's 2015. It's kind of close to the start of the 21st century. Every day, as soon as your feet hit the floor, you are thrown into a world of air particles and germs. If your neighbor gets sick, she goes to the doctor. The biggest fear of your life is the impending death that may soon involve the impending death that may take you, or the dark hole known as the future. Let's face it, you're in nothing but a harsh reality.
Paper this time.